The first couple of exercises I'm going to show you are for the left hand, the fretting hand, and these exercises are my own variations of things I've learned from lessons on YouTube by the Fingerstyle guitar master Joe Robinson and the classical guitar master David Rosseller. The purpose of these exercises is to develop absolute muscle memory for fretting accuracy, and then also to gain overall control of the movements of the fingers. Another big focus in these exercises is to develop and cultivate a technique that's very relaxed, that can do the fretting and movements required of it with a sense of ease and effortlessness. I will now demonstrate the exercises for you, and afterwards we will talk a bit about it. As you can see, these are very simple, but in my experience very good and powerful exercises. And they have really helped me a lot developing the motor skills and overall technique of my left hand over the last year or so that I've done these. And they are very similar in what they practice and what they do, but still slightly different. So I think Joe Robinson's exercise focused a little bit more on developing that fluent flowing motion of the fingers, while David Rossell's exercise focused a little bit more on the reflex of the fingers. And I would only choose to use one of these exercises in one practice session, so you can pick the one of them that you prefer, or you can switch from day to day which one of them you use. A couple of basic technique things that I just want to point out here is that you always want to fret your note as closely as possible to the upper fret of where you are, because that's where you get the most clarity with the least amount of effort. And then you also want to get yourself used to not applying more pressure on the strings than what's needed to get a clean note. So many of us have bad habits of squeezing the neck way too hard from back when we were starting out and everything was a struggle. So you want to be aware of this and then really get yourself used to pressing the strings more lightly. Another thing that's good to be aware of is to minimize unnecessary movement for more efficiency. So you don't want to go exaggerating the whole thing. You just want to keep your movements small and nice. The last basic technique thing here that I just want to point out is that you always want to look for the most effective and comfortable way to support and give counter pressure to the neck here on the back side with your thumb and sometimes the palm of your hand. So if there are certain positions and movements you are having trouble with, this might be the root of your problem. So be aware of this and look for the most comfortable and effective ways to do this. As you saw when I was demonstrating these exercises, I'm alternating between slow and faster tempo. And I'm doing this intentionally to give myself some time and the chance to let go of some tension there at the slower tempo. So for the first couple of months that you are doing these exercises, you will probably feel quite a lot of tension in your fingers, the hand and the entire forearm, while you're still getting used to these exercises. This is just something you have to work your way through, and then always try your best to really get that relaxed and fluent motion of the fingers going as good as possible. Then after some months, things will really start to flow more, and that will translate into the other exercises that I'll show you, and also when you're learning tunes. Always remember your good habits that I showed you in video 2 on practice guidelines, so that you make sure to build some good, strong connections in your brain for that. Good, so you want to stay in one position at first and just keep things really simple when you're starting out with these. And then once you get more used to them and that fluent flowing motion start to come along, you can begin to add challenge by moving around in different positions and on different strings from day to day. That sort of random practice, as it's called, is proved to be very effective for adaptability, but I would keep it simple at first and then get creative with it as you go, and you can begin to create your own little variations and exercises based on these ideas. Alright, so now we will move on to the next exercises. That's for the right hand.